Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss lesson 8 of Vestas Memories of Childhood part 2, that is We Too Are Human Beings. It is an autobiographical episode by Bama, who struggled and triumphed in a time when severe prejudice of untouchability prevailed in the society. Bama is the pen name of Dalit woman from a Roman Catholic family. This chapter is an excerpt from her autobiography Kharuku. The writer says that when she was a student in the third grade, she had never heard anyone speaking about untouchability. It was a very embarrassing to experience it. One day, while coming back home from her school, she was carrying an old bag with her. The distance between her school and home was only 10 minutes, but she would take 30 minutes and sometimes an hour to reach her home. As she would stop in the street watching all the fun and games happening there were shops, bazaar that she loved to see. The writer describes the things she watched in the street, like a performing monkey, a snake charmer who could make snakes move by playing music. He would keep the snake in a box and display it from time to time. There were a cyclist and many other people. The cyclist who had been riding his bike from past 3 days. He paddled hard to continue his riding as he was into some kind of contest. Somebody had pinned the rupee note on his shirt so as to encourage him and to keep him going on his cycle. Then there were spinning wheels and the Mariata temple with a huge bell hanging inside the temple. The Pongal offering, that is a particular dish cooked during Pongal, was cooked outside the temple. There were dried fish being sold by the statue of Gandhi. The narrator describes the stalls of sweets, fried snacks, etc. There were street lights. These sights were actually very amazing and interesting, would hold her attention, and she was unable to go back to home. There were street lights that turned violet from blue, and then the Narikurban, a tribe in South India. He had a lemur, an animal that looks like a monkey in a cage. He was a seller of needles, clay beads, and some instrument used for cleaning ear. These sights were so entertaining and amusing that prevent her from going home. The writer says that sometimes the people from various political parties would come in their street and put up a stage to deliver lectures, street plays, puppet show, and no magic, no wonder acts were also staged in the street. There were coffee clubs in the bazaar. She liked the way waiters cooled the coffee by pouring it from one jug to another. Some people used to sit in front of their shops and chop onions, turning their eyes on other side so as to save them from getting teary. Other interesting thing was an almond tree that was still growing and whose fruit was blown away by the wind. All these sights were so interesting, the writer feels like her legs being tied up. There were sellers in the bazaar who used to sell items like mango, cucumber, sugarcane, sweet potato, palm shoots, gram, palm syrup, etc. Even the writer saw many other sellers selling sweet, spicy snacks as well. The writer was a keen observer and used to notice every bit of thing happening in the market street. The writer says that she would then enter her own street. On the opposite side of the street, there was a newly made threshing floor, a flattened outdoor surface made to separate grain from straw. The landlord was sitting on a stone shelf and was watching the people working in his field. Then she describes the laborers working in the field who belonged to the writer's community. They were very hardworking and driving the cattle in pairs in the field to separate the grain from the straw. Further, she says that the mouth of the animals were covered so as to stop them from eating grains. All this was such a fun to watch for her. Then she saw an elder person coming from bazaar carrying a packet of some snacks with him. He was her neighbor. The narrator finds it funny the manner he was handling it at a distance from his body. The packet contained vadai or green banana bhaji. She guessed it because of the oily spots on the packet. The old man went up to the landlord. He bends down to show respect and handed over the carry bag to the landlord, who started eating vadais out of it. The writer laughed and narrated the incident of the old man to her elder brother. But her brother didn't find it funny at all. He told her that the man wasn't being funny, he did it because he belonged to a lower caste. People from upper caste do not touch them, as this would pollute them. Even the food was handled by the string if it was for the upper caste. When she heard all this from her brother, the writer became very sad. She wanted to know how the people of upper caste could have such a belief about their community. She knew that vadais are first packed in banana leaves and then in a parcel, so how could they get polluted with their touch? She felt so angry at this that she decided to go and touch those vadais herself. She also felt bad for that elder person who was one of the important people of her tribe, who had to go and bring the things and respect such a person who just sits there and pops things into his mouth. This very thought filled her with anger. The writer says that what if the upper caste people have some money with them? Does that mean that they will not treat others nicely? She says that they are also human beings and should be treated like human. She also thinks that people from her community should not do such small task of bringing food for them. They should work in their fields, take their wages and then leave out. They should never do any extra work for them. A writer's elder brother had come home for holidays. He was a university student. He narrated an incident to the narrator that while returning from a neighboring village where he went to borrow books from the library, he was walking along an irrigation pond when one of the men of the landlord asked his name and inquired about his street so that he could know his caste. Her Anna told the incident to the writer. He told her that they were born into a low caste. They will never get any respect from the upper caste. They were deprived of all this. But if they study hard and make progress in their life, they can throw away this disrespect. He suggested his sister to study hard and stay ahead over others, as this would earn her respect and company from others. The words of the elder brother touched her so deeply that she started working hard almost like a mad person. As her Anna had asked, she stood first in her class, and because of this only, she made so many friends. Thank you.